So, have you crafted your vision? What does it look like? If you want to share in the chat room, please do so. Now that you have crafted your vision, you now need to look at how do I operationalize it? What am I doing now? Am I in the right place? The things I'm doing now, will they lead me to my vision? Are they going to give me the kind of vision that I want? Are they going to give me the kind of results that I want? Will my success look like I want if I continue on this path? Are there things I should change? Are there structures I should change? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? The industry I am in, what does that industry look like? Here you can use a tool like Potter's 5 Forces. What is the competitiveness in the industry? Is it a growing industry or a dying industry? What's the supplier power? What is the buyer power? What's the threat of rivalry? What happens in that industry? Is it an industry that I can stay in? You can also check yourself. How am I doing? Do I have a cash cow? Do I have a star? Do I have a dog? Do I have a straggling business? Do I have a potential, a star? What is your position? Is your business doing well? Do you have, for instance, so when I say all this now, so if for instance, you are in food business, let me use an industry I'm very familiar with. If you're in food business and you're selling cooking oil, what are your strengths? Do you have resources to be competitive? Is your quality good? Do you have customers? Do you have a reputation? Are you known? What are your weaknesses? Are you always struggling with production? Are your team struggling? Do you struggle with counterfeiting? Do you struggle with inconsistency from your suppliers, where they are constant? So today they supply this kind of crop, tomorrow they supply another, even after you've given them your specifications. Are those weaknesses? How do your staff handle materials? Even you yourself, are you paying attention to the business, or are you distracted with so many other things? And you are running a food business, you have a factory that you don't go to every day. That's a weakness. What are the opportunities? You are in a food business, so the demand is high. People are always eating. No matter what you do, you must eat within 7 days. Have you eaten today? If you have eaten today, that means food business is good. So there are opportunities, but how do you take advantage of those opportunities for your own business? Now, what are the threats? What are the threats? The threats are, or could be, that one, your supply chain is weak. Your supply chain is constantly being disrupted. You don't have a regular supply of raw materials. You don't have a regular supply of packaging materials. Sometimes your printer prints the wrong thing. So that's a threat or a weakness. If you, well, depending on where you put it, unreliable suppliers is a threat. Also, your customers, they don't pay on time. That's a threat because it affects your cash flow. That's a threat. Do you want to check that business and see what you can do to deal with that threat? So you need to look at where you are and say, hey, if I want to be a successful mother that is prosperous in food, in fun, and fashion, I have to do something differently. How can I sell and ensure that I get my money on time? So you need to look at your operations. You need to ask yourself, okay, we are selling this cooking oil. Do we have a star product? Do we have a bestseller? Do we have something that stands out? Are there products that are dragging us down? Maybe we have small sizes that are unproductive. Maybe we should stop producing it. You need to analyze your business using, there are different tools. But my advice to you will be, use few tools and use the tools that are most relevant to you so that you don't confuse yourself, because there's just so much knowledge out there. Stick to a few and work with the results. You will definitely make progress. I mean, why do I say it's important to analyze? I remember a few years ago, I had an accountability partner, stroke mentor. And I said, look, I want you to help me. And the first thing she asked me was, what takes your time? Show me what your typical day or week or month is like. And tell me what you get in terms of earnings, satisfaction, time for your family, and all of that. And I showed her. And when she saw it, I had 12 boards. And she said, you mean these 12 things take your time all the time? I said, yes. She said, you have no priorities. I was embarrassed. And I thought I was a genius. She said, you have no priorities. I said, I do. You know, my son, my body, my finances, my education, my business, this business, that business. I'm on this board, I'm on that board, I'm volunteering here, I'm speaking here, I'm handling this, I'm handling that, I'm in my family, she said, so when do you have time for yourself? That was my wake-up call. I said, and I thought I was being strategic. You know, at the end of my session with her, I had to rethink my priorities. I had to resign from organizations. I had to resign from boards. I had to stop doing some businesses. I had to reduce my engagement with some organizations. I had to pull out of so many things. And I went back to her and said, oh, this is where I am. This is what I've done. And she was like, oh, really? This is good. Okay, let's see how you do. By the end of the year, let's have a review. Guess what? Yours truly. By the end of the year, when I went back to her, I had added one or two other. She said, look, you dropped this, you added this. Why don't you just focus on these ones that you said you would focus on? Another rude wake-up moment for me. I learned the importance of prioritizing, and that helped me. I was able to finish my PhD. I stopped one business completely. I mean, in spite of all the investment, we had to stop it because we sat down and looked at the operation and we saw that this business was a drain on all the resources from others. And then I decided to just focus on my strengths and on the business that is not draining my resources. Because I was just in negative. But I felt very good about that business. I had to rethink. That is the power of strategy. So you need to pause this video now and do an exercise. Quick one. List all the things that take your time. As an individual and as a business. Where are you doing well? Where do you want to improve? Where should you drop? This is the one that is difficult for a lot of people. Dropping some things. Because they want to stay in it. They'll say, I've invested so much. Look, I'll tell you, I invested in a factory, bought equipment, got the required licenses from regulatory authorities, employed people, deployed resources, committed to branding, to marketing. But it wasn't profitable. We had to stop. It was painful. That was so painful for me to do. But we stopped. And guess what? I could focus my energy to doing other things. It was painful, but part of the important things you do in strategy is saying no to a lot of things. Is stopping, knowing what you need to stop doing. And if you don't stop when you should, it could drag you down completely. I have seen organizations go down because of poor strategic choices. So whether you do it or not, you're actually making choices, because if you are in an inefficient business, you have made a choice to do the wrong thing. So do your business analysis. Check where you are. Check your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. Also look at your industry. How is it doing? How does regulations affect you? Look at political, environmental, social, and technology. We'll talk more about that shortly. But look at it. How does it affect you? Know how the policies of government will affect you? Do you know how global activities will affect you? Do you know how regional activities will affect you? It is a very, very volatile world. So you have to check your operations. And let's continue with strategic planning. So right now, pause this video and check your operations. Where are you? Do an analysis. Use the SWOT framework. Use the Porter's 5 Forces framework. And let us see where you are in your business. See you shortly.